Are we finally gonna get the fight? Gervonta Davis reveals to someone very close to him what it's gonna take and what Devin Haney is gonna have to accept in order to make the fight happen. We're gonna talk about what that is in this video, but before we do that, make sure you hit my like button and subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed. Now, before I even get into this video, I want to make one thing clear. I'm not writing off Ryan Garcia and I'm not writing off Frank Martin. I understand that Devin still got to go in there and get the victory over Ryan Garcia, and Tank still got to go in there and get the victory over Frank Martin. And even if they lose, I'm going to let it be known before I get started. I still want to see Devin and Tank go in there and throw them hands. I don't give a damn if it's in the middle of my street. They got to get it cracking. It's gotten too personal, and they've been talking back and forth online on social media too long not to throw them hands. I mean, it's gotten so personal between Devin and Tank and Bill Haney. At one point, you seen Bill Haney going around supermarkets showing Gervonta Davis's mugshot. So, I mean, they got to throw hands no matter what. You feel what I'm saying? And this has even went all the way back to before Devin Haney was even a pro. You know what I'm saying? When Gervonta Davis was only 20 years old and Devin was 16. People talking about the sparring. I mean, that sparring match alone made more headlines than any fight in boxing. Like, I mean, people was going crazy over just that little sparring footage. So the fight gotta happen. But we all know that boxing is a business, and we also know that Devin Haney and Gervonta Davis, they're no longer in the same weight division. And a lot of the boxing media and YouTube channels, we've gone from saying that Devin doesn't bring nothing to the table, he don't have a big enough name, to Devin don't sell enough pay-per-views, to Devin and Bill want too much money, to now just simply Devin Haney is too big for Gervonta Davis. And I'm not saying all these things myself. I'm saying this is what, different channels are saying, different YouTube content creators, different boxing media is saying. These are some of the things that we feel that's keeping us from seeing the fight, right? Leonard Ellaby, he said a multitude of things, right? He said the fight ain't ready financially yet, and all these different things, right? Also, when it comes to Bill and Devin Haney, at certain points in time, when they open their mouth and talk, they seem like that they talking themselves out of the fight. They saying that they the face of boxing. At one point in time, they saying they're not accepting no rehydration clauses. Tank got to fight him at 140. If it ain't 140, the fight ain't happening. And so it's been a whole lot of talks on both sides. But when it comes to all of that, I understand a lot of that is just trying to push a narrative out to the fans and the public and the media, right? But one of the main things is the size issue. We're not going to pretend like that is not a big factor in this fight. And recently, Richardson Hitchens, somebody that's very, very close to Gervonta Davis, one of Gervonta Davis's best friends since they was children, he came out and he spoke on it. And he talks to Tank all the time behind the scenes. And he says, look, the bottom line is, if Devin wants to fight Gervonta Davis, Tank Davis saying that he don't want to fight at 140, right? He is not a 140-pound fighter because he's small. He is saying that Devin has to accept a rehydration clause. Straight up and down like that. This is what Hitchinson said, right? And we know that Hitchinson is saying this in an interview because Tank told him that behind the scenes. That's what's going to have to happen. Accept the rehydration clause or it ain't going to be no fight. And a lot of the back and forth with Gervonta Davis and his team, the shit that they be saying, I be having a problem with it. I don't sugarcoat it, right? But I don't have a problem with this at all because I've said on several occasions, in order for this fight to happen, if the fight is going to take place, right, when you get past all of the shit that Leonard Ellaby saying and all of the things that Bill Haney be saying, they have to come to the negotiation table and they have to be willing to talk before anything. Now, if they just doing all of this shit back and forth in the media, but neither one is willing to sit down and to talk with each other and try to figure out something, don't none of this shit matter. I'm just letting it be known straight like that. But once they come to the negotiation table, the first thing that Devin Haney is going to have to realize that he got to agree to is a rehydration clause. And that's only fair because you're fighting somebody that's moving up to a different weight division. Yes, Tank has fought at 140, but when he fought Mario Barrios at 140, he put in a rehydration clause on Mario Barrios. So it's clear that Gervonta Davis is not a 140-pound fighter. It's also clear that Devin Haney, yeah, he just moved up to 140, but he is a full-blown 140-pound fighter, and he's actually big for that weight division. Another thing that's clear is Gervonta Davis is the A side. He is the money man. So if Devin and Bill really want to fight, they got to come up off of that shit that they've said in the past that they not accepting no rehydration clause. We know that Devin don't want to accept no rehydration clause, but we also know that Tank don't want to fight at 140 pounds without a rehydration clause. So if Devin Haney really want to make it happen, he gonna have to accept that. Now I understand that this ain't all just one-sided. Gervonta Davis, he gonna have to give on his side too if he want to make the fight happen, right? Because you can't tell Devin and Bill and them that they gonna have to accept the rehydration clause and then tell them that they gonna have to accept pennies on the dollar also. You know what I'm saying? You can't pay them the same amount of money that you paying a Frank Martin or a Rolly or a Pitbull Cruz, because y'all like to say that Devin don't sell pay-per-views and all that, and that's okay. But he still generate way more money than a Pitbull Cruz did or a Rolly Romero did or Frank Martin did or whoever it may be, anybody that you've ever fought before. He's still going to generate way more money than they do. So if Devin, if he's willing to accept the rehydration clause at 140, well then it's only fair that you give him a 60-40 split. I think that's more than fair. You know, a 60-40 split with a rehydration clause. Now, where the problem lies, if Devin and Bill get to talking about rehydration clause and 50-50, it probably ain't going to be no fight. Or we already know it ain't going to be no fight if they just come to the table and say no rehydration clause. But in order to show me, and it should be like this to everybody, in order to show that any of y'all real, y'all got to sit down and negotiate, plain and simple. And yes, that means that Bill and Devin Haney got to go over to the PBC and sit their ass down with Al Heyman or whoever else they need to talk to on the PBC. Yes, that's exactly what that means, because Tank is the A side. With all of that being said, y'all let me know how y'all feel about all of this. Do y'all think that Devin and Bill will actually accept the rehydration clause? Do y'all think that Gervonta Davis will give Devin and Bill something like a 60-40 split if they do? And do y'all think that they'll actually all come together and try to make a fight happen? You know what I'm saying? That's the first hurdle that we got to get over, is will they come together and at least try to make it happen? Let me know how y'all feel. Drop a comment in the comment section. Make sure you hit my like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already subbed. And y'all already know how I do. There you go, talking that boxing again. And I'm gone.